It's a new week in the Crew Motorfest, and this week's theme is called Primal, and this is my summit guide. Let's go. All right, starting out with the cars this week, there's only one car you're going to need to buy for sure, and that is the brand new Fenrir Super Sport. Not this one. This is the Radiant Edition. It's a brand new, different car that is only available for CC, which is real money in the game. You do not have to buy this car, but you do get to drive this car in the Summit as a loaned vehicle. You need the other version, the base one. This one. This is the base version of the same car. From what I'm told, these cars are identical, but the other one has like a special livery on it and some special vanities that you get. That's why it's so expensive. But it is exactly the same car. They just have it as a special edition version of that car. So the good news is, as long as you get this one, you're not missing out on anything. The bad news is, if you're a car collector, then you can't collect the other car unless you cough up the $22. Anyways, I haven't tuned these yet, so I don't have pro settings for you, but I did this on like the base, just regular settings, just the stock settings, and the cars feel really, really good to drive. So don't worry too much about pro settings for this one. I'll put out videos later this week with each of these cars so that you can see exactly what my tune does to it. The rewards this week are 50 prestige tickets, 150 prestige tickets, the epic title called Primal Driver, and then the Primal Underglow, which is a brand new underglow for the game. It looks pretty cool. It's a little dull if you ask me, but I'm sure it looks better at night. And then next week, just to give you a heads up, we've got a brand new car that's up for grabs if you get platinum. So keep that in mind. Let's get into the events. All right, the first event is with that loaned Fenrir Super Sport, the special edition. And there's really not a lot to this one. It's mostly highway. If you have a slipstream partner, it's going to help you out. But I would say just try your best to manage your NOS correctly, and that means keeping it in the blue as you see me go into the red. So this beginning part is interesting. Once you get to about halfway and you get ready to shift into 7th gear, you can dump your NOS here, because there's a big, you basically get almost up to top speed with this. Watch me dump the NOS. So you get almost to top speed with this, and you've got pretty much a long straight followed by a curve and then a braking section. So there's a lot of time for that NOS to regenerate. So in this specific case, you're going to want to dump the NOS right there. Now, by the time you get all the way down here, see how the NOS is almost ready to go again, and you're going to use it right after this right-hander. So maybe I used a little too much, but this is the next opportunity to use NOS. Now on this turn, I did something kind of funky, and you could choose to do it or not. I don't actually know if this is actually going to be faster or not. If you take the corner with like the most optimal line possible, you have to slow down a lot to get through this corner. So I chose to go up and over the barrier and use a little bit of air NOS. It looks like this. Now, I didn't get a very friendly bounce off the wall. If I could have gotten a better bounce, it probably is going to be more worth it, but you do it both ways and choose which one works best for you. I like to jump over the wall. Outside of that, this is it. It's all highways. You go through this section. It's a little bit tight through here. There's no shortcuts, nothing like that. You get through here, get out to this highway again, and that is the end of the race. It's just all highways. So again, Slipstream Partner is going to help you a lot on this one. Let's move on. All right, the next race has that same car, and it's got a few cuts in it. So let's go ahead and fast forward to those. The first one happens here at 51%. Go across the grass here. You're basically, you're looking for this group of pipes right here. You're looking for that. You go right behind that, in between that and the tree. That's your visual line, and try to aim for that left side of that checkpoint. When you get close to the end here at about 90%, you're going to cut the grass here and then go through the grass again here, and then you can go through this wall and this fence here to make the left, and then you're going to go across this corner here by the house, and you're home free. All right, let's move on. All right, the next race, you're going to be using both versions of this, but they're both loaned, so don't worry about parts. The first little cut tricky part is here. You're going to stay to the right coming out of this this tunnel here. In fact, let me back up a little bit so you can see. When you get to this part, you have a choice to go left or right. I would stay right. So you make this turn. I've really botched it and hit the wall. But basically, you make this turn and then stay to the right on this tunnel. Then if we get to the back side of this tunnel, on this right-hander, you're going to look for this. As soon as you see the track, you're going to drop down and use your NOS like this. Try not to hit the walls. If you hit the walls, it's going to slow you down. The next cut is here at 64%. The reason this cut works is you can't hit anything. You got to not hit the poles and the trees. And what you're looking for is this light pole right here. You're gonna go in between this light pole and this tree, just like this, and then dodge everything else as well. I didn't need to like shake back and forth. It's kind of a straight path. I did it poorly. I just couldn't see. It's very dark. Immediately after this, you're gonna go across the grass to the left and across this parking lot. And then immediately after that, you're gonna go across this little section here and across this parking lot. Now you should be aiming for just to the right of this flag without hitting this big tree or the pole. Looks just like that. Now when you get here to 80%, you're gonna cut to the left after this light pole. After the light pole, just keep turning, regain with the road. When you get to 91%, you're gonna go to the left here, and then to the right, and then back left. You're home free. All right, let's move on. All right, the next race is with that lone vehicle again, so no parts on this one. And I think there's only like a couple of cuts, but either way, we'll just fast forward to those. Our first thing to know is this turn here at 8% is not a gutter turn. There's a hill here, which makes it like an opposite gutter. It'll throw you out. There's no reason to be in the gutter here. Just take the turn normally. When you're done with this turn, you're going to be using little spurts of NOS until you get to the rock, and you're going to jump across. It's important that you point the car towards this striped barrier here and then turn it back left, because if you see where the checkpoint is, that's actually where you want to land, is in that same area. When you hit the jump, you need to pull the nose of the car up towards the air and NOS to get over this gap. But it looks something like this. Just like that. Over here at 44%, you can cut the grass on the right, and that slows you down for this turn here. Take this one normally, and then go across the parking lot a little bit here. And I believe that is it. Outside of that, you're on highways all the way to the end. So enjoy that. Let's move on. All right. The fifth race is finally the one where you get to use your parts. This is the brand new Feneer Super Sport, the regular base one. Make sure you put your Nitro Chemist parts on this one. There are a bunch of cuts in this one, a couple of really difficult ones as well. So let me show you these. All right, the first cut here happens here at about 22%. You're aiming for this last flag in these group of flags, and you're going to point the car to the left. See how I turn the car in the air? You want to align it with checkpoint. There you go. And then when you get done with this, you're going to stay as close to this building as possible. There you go. But not too close. Actually, not as close as possible. Just on the turn. You still have to get kind of close to this checkpoint, but you can see how far away I am. You don't have to get that close. You can keep your speed going. At the end of this straight, there's actually a right-hander that you can cut. Brake a little bit, downshift, and go across. And then continue on. You can cut this next corner as well. You should be aiming for just to the left of this tree here. Just to the left. Aim for the like billboards or whatever. And then stay to the right on this section, because you're going to go back left in between these two big trees. Right in between here and towards the next checkpoint. Now, if we fast forward a little bit, there is one more cut that you can do or not do, and it's this one here at 62%. So this will save you time, and it is really difficult to do, but I got pretty lucky on this clip, so I'll show it to you. You cut to the right at the flag, and your goal is in between all of these trees, like basically directly towards the checkpoint. You hit the rocks. You can use some air NOS, try to point the car back onto the road, and that's what you're looking for. And that's actually it. So let's move on. All right, the next race is also with your Feneer Super Sport. This one, again, put your Nitro Chemist parts on it. Let's get to the cuts. First one happens here at 25%. Cut towards the checkpoint. Try to keep the car on the road. And then here, you can just use the wall to slow down. Just do a little wall tap so that it, slows the car down a little bit. At the end of this hill, you can cut across this right here. And then you're going to want to grab this gutter. I did it poorly, but try to grab it. Now, on this part, you can cut to the left, like directly after this like roof structure. What is this called? What is this called? A gate? Anyway, you cut left and go across the grass. Just helps you take the turn a little bit better. And then on this turn, you can cut to the right. Takes, just helps you take the turn a little better. It's okay to hit the wall there a little bit. It's not too bad. All right, when you get done with this gutter here, you're going to want to stay to the right and just go ahead and keep turning after that bush. Get yourself back on the road. Again, wall tap's not that important. It's okay. Then here you have a little opportunity to take a jump. You want to stay to the left of these bushes. Jump over the hill. And you want to stay more left than I went, because you don't want to end up in the grass. You want to be basically, when you hit this jump, you want to point the car to the left, because you want to land where the road is going to be going. You'll keep a lot more speed that way. And that's it. Let's move on. All right, the next race is something real special. If you guys didn't know, they do the track of the week and they pick a player's track. Mine got picked. This is one of my tracks that I created. It is a signature track because it is an ode to Need for Speed Heat. This track is a direct, like, duplicate, basically, of the track called Aryan, which is in Need for Speed Heat. If you know Need for Speed Heat and you know Aryan, this is it. So enjoy this. I will show you there's not really any cuts or any tricks to this one. It's just a motorsports track. It's closed in. There's nowhere for you to go. But I do recommend some NOS. So let's just take a look at the NOS strategies. When you round this first left-hander here at the top of the hill, this is when you're going to want to blast your NOS when you're going down the hill. And you want to get it into 7th as soon as possible. You'll do that every single lap. But you want to be cruising at top speed on this section because it's a real fast section. Obviously, don't go off-road. The next spot that you're going to like really dump the NOS is going to be at the top of the hill, which is right after here. When you make this right-hander, the last one of the lap, you'll dump a bunch of NOS here, but don't do too much because you might run into the wall. And then you got to make sure that you have some NOS for after this turn once again to blast the NOS down this hill. Get it into 7th early. Notice I shifted from like 4th to 7th, and then I just start using a bunch of NOS. That's going to be your NOS strategy. Outside of that, just enjoy it. All right, the escape is not too bad. You're going to start it from the opposite direction from which you spawn, and you're going to be going down the hill a little bit, and you're going to take a jump. So let's take a look at what this looks like. So we hit the escape. We go through here, and then once you get to this hill right here, you're going to go jumping off of this hill. Now, don't watch my ghost because that's not the correct line. You're going to go this way. Try to point the car to the left a little bit. You're going to want to go more left than where I'm going now. Your goal is to reconnect with this road that you see in front of you there. There's a big sign here. That's the road that you're trying to connect to. So that's where you want to go. Right like that. Now, when you get down through here, the best thing to do is to make a right and go towards Hoonigan Island. You're going to use the jumps at Hoonigan Island to jump away from the circle. Just to get even more distance. So here's what it looks like. Go through this section here. Stay to the left of this wall here and then take your jump. Make sure you're pointing the nose of the car down a little bit so you can get, you know, some good air NOS and some good distance. And that's basically it. All right, and finally we've got the speed trap. This is the Kanaha Pond, and this one's fairly easy, I would say, just because like we have to jump, but the jump is not super hard to get to, or you know, you don't have to hit it like a specific perfect way. And the cars fly really far because they're hypercars. It's not like you need to have like frenetic on your parts or anything. That will help you go faster, but you don't need it. You can actually make the jump without it. Anyway, so this is where you go. You turn right all the way up this hill, and if you're looking at the mini map, it's this little road right here. You're gonna go to the end of this where the green circle meets, and then you're gonna go down this way. You follow this road, and you're going to use the hill here on the side of the bridge, or this tunnel here. You're going to use it right between the wall and the tree, right like this, just like that. And you're going to use your NOS to fly in and hit the speed trap. That's the whole thing. And this is what it looks like when you do it correctly. Obviously, you have rewind on. You can see I'm using rewind to, you know, back up when I miss and try again from like right about there. The key is to not hit your NOS right away. You got to hit it like a little, like a split second after you launch, and then that's when you can get a, you know, a good angle on it, because like I said, the hypercars fly over it. So anyways, enjoy that. Obviously you don't have to, you can just do it normally, but as you can see, 341 miles per hour, which is way over the top speed of a hypercar, only gets you 150. So if you're doing it normally, you're going to hit like, you know, 303, 304, and you're only going to get, I don't know, maybe 140 or 135. So anyways, that is it. All right, here are my final scores. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, send me a DM on Instagram or Discord. I read every single message that comes my way. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I will catch you on the next one. Trigger out.